Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to break down a really simple but honestly super powerful framework for dealing with one of the most draining parts of building a business: customers who make absolutely no sense. We're talking about how to turn that chaos into your secret weapon. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You've poured everything into your product, you deliver a pitch that you think is perfect, and then the customer does something that just leaves you scratching your head. It feels like you're speaking two completely different languages. And yeah, it usually looks something like this. The demo's amazing, they're fired up, and then boom, complete radio silence. Or you get those last second demands for a huge discount. Or that super helpful feedback like, it's just not quite right. It's so frustrating, and honestly, the temptation is to just write these people off as being difficult. But here it is. This is the crucial mindset shift. This is what separates the good from the truly great. The best founders, they don't see these moments as problems to run away from. Nope, they see them as clues, clues that are pointing toward a massive opportunity. And this mental flip is literally everything. Where most people see a roadblock, an elite founder sees a treasure map. A quote-unquote difficult customer becomes a source of high-signal data. A situation that feels impossible becomes a free diagnostic test for your product. It's a total reframe of the entire problem. So that's the big question, isn't it? It's one thing to say, hey, see it as a map, but how do you actually learn to read the thing? How do you figure out what it's telling you? Well, you do it with this simple four-step field guide, the CARE framework. Clarify, acknowledge, reframe, and execute. It's a system, a way to turn all that confusion into real clarity and, most importantly, action. Theory is great, but let's see how this actually works in the wild. We're going to walk through a couple of scenarios that I'm pretty sure are going to feel very, very familiar to you. Ah, yes, the enthusiastic ghost. We've all been haunted by this one. They love the product, they say all the right things, they promise they're going to go talk to the team, and then they just disappear into thin air. Emails go unanswered, calls go straight to voicemail, nothing. So the very first step is C, for clarify. Before you spiral and assume they secretly hate your product, just check your assumptions. Look for some outside context. Did something just change in their world? A reorg? A budget freeze? Was it the end of a crazy quarter? Don't make it about you until you're sure it's actually about you. Next up is A for acknowledge. You got to put yourself in their shoes. What are their pressures, their fears, their goals? And a huge one you'll find so often is career risk. Sticking their neck out for a new, unproven tool can feel really dangerous. And once you get that, their silence starts to make a whole lot more sense. And this brings us to the magic step, R for reframe. Their silence isn't a no. It's almost never a no. It's a signal that your champion is hitting internal roadblocks. Maybe they don't have the political capital, or they just don't know how to sell it to their boss. Your job just changed from selling to helping them sell internally. And finally, E for execute. Now that you have this new understanding, you can take smart, targeted action. Send them a super low-pressure email, acknowledging their crazy schedule. And here's the key. Give them a tool, a simple ROI one-pager, a quick 2-minute video for their CFO. You're making it easy for them to fight that internal battle. Okay, let's tackle another one. This next scenario happens right at the finish line, and man, it can be incredibly stressful. The last-second haggle. The deal's basically done. You're ready to celebrate, and then suddenly you get that email, that dreaded phone call. They need a massive price cut, and they need it now. The temptation is to just panic or honestly get angry. But instead, we start with C for clarify. Don't just react to the demand. Ask a simple diagnostic question. Understanding why they need that discount is everything. Is this some permanent budget cut, or is it just a short-term cash flow thing? The answer totally changes how you should respond. Then, A for acknowledge. This is how you immediately diffuse the tension. You just mirror their pressure back to them. A simple phrase like, wow, I can tell you're really under the gun here, shows you're on their side. Instantly, you've gone from being an adversary to a collaborator who's trying to solve a problem with them. Now, this reframe is so important. This is not a rejection of your product's value. It is the exact opposite. It is proof that they want it so badly they are willing to fight for it. They see the value, they're just trying to jam it into a box that they've been given. This is a buying signal, not a walking away signal. So for the final step, execute. You don't just give in. You trade. You use a give-get model.
If you're going to give a little on price, you need to get something strategic in return. Maybe it's a longer contract, a public case study, or faster payment terms. You trade your margin for strategic currency, never for nothing.
So when you zoom out from these two scenarios, you start to see the bigger pattern here. Every single moment of customer friction, every confusing behavior, it's not a bug, it's a feature, it's a gift. Because when you learn to stop getting frustrated by it and start getting curious about it, you literally transform it. That frustration turns into free product feedback, it turns into breakthrough insights, and ultimately it becomes your sharpest competitive edge. You'll understand your customers on a level your competition can only dream of. So think about that confusing customer interaction you had last week. Yeah, that one. The one that drove you crazy. What if it's not a roadblock? What if it's a treasure map? What mystery inside your business is just sitting there, waiting for you to solve it, holding the key to your next big win?